We are recording. He's my friend.
Hello, everyone. By the time you're watching this, which will be tomorrow, it would mark 4 years since
I asked her to be my girlfriend.
Yep. And it's a long, kind of crazy story. One that I obviously super love. The one thing that I wish I could have done different, though, is I wish Grant would have asked me to the lyrics of the Justin Bieber song.
I didn't even know that song at that point.
Which one?
Was that even a song at
that
point?
How did it go? Girl, it came out like in 2012, and we started dating in 2014.
How do you listen to the Bieber? Oh, I do now. I didn't at that point.
How's the song go?
I don't know. Something about will you be my girlfriend till the chicka world ends or something. I don't know.
Yes. I wish you would have been like, you could be my girlfriend until the chicken world ends.
I don't even know what a chicken world is.
It's not a chicken world.
Oh, what is it?
It's like chica. Like chica.
Oh, like chiclets.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, so 4 years ago, 2014, this guy and I started dating.
True story.
Yeah, and I think it was January and February of 2014. We had both gone through big breakups. Mm-hmm. So we had been single for a couple of months doing our own thing. We didn't know it, but we were basically neighbors.
Yeah, we lived about, a solid 3 blocks behind each other. Well, the funny thing is I always knew who she was, but she didn't know who I was.
And how do you know who I was?
How I knew is that, so I'm on the architectural control committee for the subdivision that we developed and that she lived in. And the problem was that she had 33 violations for parking her trailer in the street incorrectly. Or basically a violation. You're not allowed to park your trailer in the street, and she kept doing it. So they kept reporting her to the HOA, and I was supposed to be the one to handle it, but since she was the only one who lived there, I never worried about it. And
I should add that I lived all by myself on the cul-de-sac for over a year, so I kind of just took over that whole cul-de-sac like it was mine. And the night when Grant and I finally met, which we have a lot to get to that point, Grant's like, yeah, I know where you live.
I don't have game.
Stalker!
I'm not even gonna pretend like I have game. Yeah, as soon as I said, her face was like, and I was like, let me explain. So I explained it, she's like, oh, okay.
I was like, thank you for never scolding me. You're sending me one of my 34 complaint letters I should have gotten.
Tell them what you and Kat did, though.
What? Oh, so then my friend Kat Bevel at the time, she lived only a couple blocks down from me. She moved right whenever Grant and I started dating. Mm-hmm. But like when I was trying to get Grant's attention right before we were starting dating, Kat invited me over and she's like, we're going to have they were grilling out in the front yard. They put like a little, what was it? A little pool? Like a kiddie pool. And we laid out in the kiddie pool in the front yard, had the grill in the driveway. And I was like, what are we calling this party? And she was like, we're just going to hang out here until HOA shows up.
Which would have been me. But luckily, nobody reported it, so I didn't have to show up.
I tell Grant all these stories after we started dating, and he is just like, you're too much.
Yeah, stressful.
Grant's a rule follower, and I clearly dance to the beat of my own.
Oh, she's a rule breaker. Like, if there's a rule, that just means she's going to find a way to get around it.
Yeah, I'm not going to break it, but I'm going to ask for forgiveness over permission.
She's going to tiptoe on that fine line.
Yeah. So, I guess back to when we actually started meeting each other. Mm-hmm. I'd kind of learned who Grant was. Some mutual friends were trying to tell me about him, like May, June, July. I was like, no, hell no guy. And wanted no part of him, didn't know who he was. He had no social media, guys. So when I met him, truly blind. Like, didn't even know what he looked like, no picture, nothing.
Yep. And of course, we'd actually had met before that and actually were Facebook friends.
But he had his Facebook deactivated.
Yeah,
so.
I deactivated my Facebook. She had no idea what I looked like, but I knew who she was, so.
What did you know about me?
Rodeo. Real rodeo.
Why do you say it like that?
I mean, if you're rodeo, why are you embarrassing your rodeo life?
I'm not. It's so funny. I actually have more of a livestock background than a rodeo background, but Grant calls all of it when he got...
If there's a cow involved, it's rodeo. I'm sorry.
Any kind of animal, Grant calls it rodeo, and it's crazy. So, our friends wanted us to meet. It was the weekend after my birthday. I just turned 27. Grant was 29. My brother and sister-in-law had just gotten married, and I was up there with the trailer, with my big Southern Jules trailer, and I was having a show in Fort Worth for Southern Jules. And on the way out of town, or when I was about to break down my booth, it was pouring down rain. Mm-hmm. The starter went out in the truck, and the jacks went out in the trailer. So I'd gone through like 24 hours of hell. I got a hold of a friend that lived in Waxahachie. She came and rescued me with her dually. I left my brother's truck in Fort Worth, came home with the trailer. The next morning, my dad was like, take the trailer straight into Gooseneck to get fixed. And I guess I'd heard Grant's first and last name maybe a week before this, as far as this alleged guy that wanted to meet me. And the only thing that I knew about the Carrabba last name and family in town is that they own Gooseneck trailers.
Yep. And so whenever she brought her trailer in, I'd already, go ahead.
So yeah, I'm driving on the way literally from my house to Gooseneck, which is just a couple of miles. I have no makeup on, broken out, like wet hair. I've been through 24 hours of hell. And while I'm driving, one of my friends who was trying to set us up, Tiffany, she said, hey, I just cut Grant's hair and he still really wants to meet you. And I'm like, well, I'm on my way to Gooseneck and I actually need some help. So why don't you go ahead and give him my number?
Yep. So I texted her and was like, hey, sorry to hear about, the trailer. Take it into the parts. We'll get you fixed up. So I called ahead and said, take care of her, whatever she needs. Just do what you need to do for her.
And it was the first time, like for all of you that are maybe like single or going through different things out there trying to find the right person, I had never been with a man before that had like helped take care of me. I walk in and they were like, we're going to get you all taken care of. Grant already called us. And I didn't even know who Grant was.
True story.
Yep. And you know me, I like bust up in there. I'm like praying Grant's not there because I looked like living hell. And thank God he wasn't working there. Mm-hmm. And then when they get the forklift to get the trailer off my truck, I was like, you can just have it. I don't even want it back.
Yeah, I wanted to meet her, obviously. And so I had texted her, I think Friday, and was like, hey, well, we're going out Saturday night. If you want to go, come on.
No, you hadn't texted me yet. You texted a friend wanting me to come out Friday night, and I already had plans. And then Saturday, you texted another friend of ours trying to get me to come out. And I went to my friend's house that was married for 10 years. Thank you, Katie. And she said, no, ma'am. You set the precedent. He's not doing this through someone else. If he wants to meet you, by God, he's got your number, and he can set it up.
So within about 2 minutes of that being said, I texted her. I was like, hey, we've got a softball tournament Saturday, but we'll be done, around 10 o'clock. We're going to go out afterwards. Would you like to come?
And I played it cool. I was like, maybe. I'm like so excited. I'm like, Grant wants to meet me. I don't know what he looks like. He's not on social media. My friend Katie's like, you'll be attracted to him, but we're like, okay, thanks for the invite. Maybe we'll come. And we're figuring out like, what should we wear? Who's going to drive? How are we going to handle this? Typical girl stuff. Mm-hmm. The night that we met, I wore this leopard, like razorback tank top cut maxi dress. And Grant, how'd you like it?
That was... would not be the first choice I would have had had I had an opinion of the matter.
So you liked it?
Absolutely hated it. And that's being polite.
Okay, so Grant and I meet. I walk up. I'm like, I hadn't drinking anything, but I ordered a round of shots and drinks for me and two of my girlfriends. And I'm going to pay for it. And Grant walks up and he's like, hi, I'm Grant. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he is so cute. Aww. So we talked all night. We knew a lot of mutual people, a lot of like things, and that was cool. Like the thing about us meeting is then we at least had some common ground between like people we knew in town and mutual friends.
The crazy thing is we actually know a lot of the same people. We have an extreme amount of mutual friends, but neither one of us ever would hang out with those people in the same circle. So
at the same time,
it was really weird.
But your cousins had come with me on New Year's Eve.
Right.
A couple months. This would have been July we're talking about. So New Year's Eve, his two cousins ended up out with me.
And I was absolutely this close to going with them.
And I was a hot mess, heartbroken, broken up, pink sparkles, whining, crying. Thank God Grant didn't show up.
Yeah, I heard about that trip. It was an interesting trip. So
yeah.
Probably a good thing.
So then Grant and I met, and we realized we're like neighbors because Grant tells me, I know where you live, like a stalker. And he tells me, well, he lives behind me, but I still didn't know what house he thinks. I went and figured out exactly which house he lived in. So it took like a month for Grant to ask me on a date. And I went from never knowing this man to like every time I'd go take my trash out, there he was. I'd go on a run, there he was. I would be driving home at 5 o'clock one day to help my brother with his old raggedy truck of a project that was broke down in the middle of the street, and I was so embarrassed. And here's Grant walking alongside the first time I ever met Bucky, and I'm like, Of course he has like the most adorable little bulldog ever.
Jacob literally has his 1980 something single cab jacked up Chevrolet truck on blocks in the middle of not just the street but the road, like the main thoroughfare. Has it on jacks, taking his tire off because something had come off. I don't know.
And I'm like, Grant would show up at this exact moment.
And of course I'm laughing. I'm like, hey bro, you need any help? Not that I'm any help whatsoever in that regard. He's like, no, I got it. And so she got water for Bucky, and I think Audra was there.
And then, you know me, I'm like, hey, I like you and I think you're cute, but you're not getting my garage code. Don't think you're just busting up in my house yet.
I was not asking for the garage code.
Then one time I was on a walk, looked like hell on a Sunday afternoon, and Grant's driving by in a different vehicle that I knew he drove, rolls down the window and he's like, hey, and I'm on the phone with one of my friends, and I'm like, he's literally everywhere. I have to look cute anytime I walk outside of my house.
No, you don't.
It was so stressful.
You're a stressful person.
I was so stressed. So we go from, then I got sassy with Grant, and there was one night I came home from Christopher's, and I have my little to-go box. I got home from dinner at 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
I get out, and lo and behold, there's Grant in a little highlighter shirt running by my house. And he's like, hey.
I'm trying to exercise.
I told him, I said, I see where your little route is. Right here.
Just in this area.
Yeah. And he tried denying it, but I knew.
It's the only one with safe jogging trails. I don't know what to tell you.
So then he went and asked me on a date, but I was like, I'm not going to ask him on a date. Like my friend said, not to be the girl that asked the guy on the date, but I was starting to get desperate. So I got really cocky and I sent him it was like one of those little pictures, and I posted on my Facebook just a couple weeks ago, or I think this past week, and it said, it was like the sky, and it had comfort zone, real small here, and then it had like fireworks and real big, and it said where the magic happens. And I just texted that to him with nothing, just that.
And I was like, so what are you implying?
And I was like, you're going to find out once you ask me on our date.
I said, okay, well, I might just do that.
And so then he Snapchatted something about, we got to start dating in the age of social media. And so Grant had Snapchatted, like on his generic story, because Snapchat was real big in 2014. He Snapchatted something about a gun. And so I was at home and I had me a little what did I have? The little gun by your nightstand.
Pistol.
I had me a pistol that my brother bought me for Christmas, so I went and Snapchatted it direct to Grant. And then I got an old school text message. Do-do-do-do.
So what you got there, little Philly?
Yeah. So I call my brother, who was working like a couple hours away, but he was living with me when he was home on the weekends at the time. I call him. I'm like, hey, Grant's like old school texting me. He thinks I know a lot about guns. So we're going to have this conversation, and I don't know anything about guns. So he's going to text me. I'm going to copy it to you. You're going to respond to sound smart like you know about guns, but also make it sound like you're me. And then I'm just going to play copy and paste between this conversation of the two of y'all.
Yeah, so she fooled me big time. Got me real good.
What all did I know about?
She knew about twist ratios of rifles. She knew about, all kind of stuff. It's just nuts. And I was sitting there going, I hit the jackpot. I got a hunting buddy. She knows about guns. I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing known to man. So I was like, well, if she knows this much, I was like, hey, would you like to go hunting?
So then I call my girlfriends and I'm like, okay, I guess it's not a real date, but he asked me to go hunting. And they're like, no, that counts as a real date because you're not going over to someone's house. It's not a group hangout activity. It's just the two of you. So I still had the store at the time, and I remember I walked in that morning and I told everybody, I have a date and I have to be on the road at 4 o'clock because I would always leave work late. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh my God, Randa's got a date. We got to get her out of here. Naturally, I still didn't get out on the way. I think Alexis Bloomer and her mom came in the store, so I wanted to talk to them. I could just never get out of there because I was this little social butterfly. So I'm coming in hot to my house. My brother had told me, kind of coached me through. He's like, okay, there's a shotgun in my closet. You need a bucket. You need some shells. You need to go get a hunting license. You need to have a camo shirt. So I'm coming on in hot to my brother's closet. I got me some little shorts and a camo shirt. And I took 2 shots of vodka, brushed my teeth so Grant wouldn't think that I was a drunk in the middle of the day. But I was nervous.
Mm-hmm. So I walk in and...
No, he rings the doorbell naturally early. I'm still getting dressed and I'm like, oh my God.
Yep, so I'm early. So she walks in, she's looking, pretty cute in her little camo. She's like, hey, I'm ready to go. Let me go get my gun. I said, awesome, okay. And so she walks over there, and this is when I knew she had got me, fooled me, and was a fake, phony, and a liar.
Hey! Girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do to get a date.
Grabs her gun and goes, I'm ready! And completely not holding it right, pointing it right at me. And I'm just
not right at you. Maybe, I think it was up.
It was not in a safe direction.
Okay.
And I pretty much was like, okay, this is going to be real interesting just for the way she's carrying it, holding it, just...
Real entertaining.
Not a clue. Yeah. So I was like, I know what I'm getting myself into.
And Grant looked so cute. He had his little camo pants on and little belt, shirt tucked in. I'm like, oh, I got me a real hunting man.
Rodeo.
So we go hunting, and first thing I get there, and I'm like, I gotta pee. And he's like, well, there's a bush. And I'm from I grew up in a small town and showing cows and stuff. So I just go over there and do my little business, and I take my little selfie and send it to my girlfriends, and I'm like, here I am on my date.
I was actually pretty proud of her because I don't really want to, I've dated some girls, real city girls that would have never done that. So it kind of told me that she was self-sufficient, willing to,
take care, because you're not a babysitter.
No, I'm not a babysitter at all. Matter of fact, pretty much refuse to do that. But anyway, I was like, that's actually pretty impressive. I like that. And so we're sitting and we're shooting, and bless her heart, she's got a pump action shotgun, and she's not hitting anything. She can't pump it. It's just...
at this point, I've never shot a dove in my life. I'm not that good.
It was obvious she barely even shot a shotgun before.
Yeah.
It was at that point. So I finally was like, so I give her my shotgun.
Because it didn't have to do the clock
which was a semi-automatic. I took hers, I limit out, so I was like, look, if you shoot a bird, I'll take you to dinner tonight. Thinking that
Game on, mother truckers!
Well, I was like, I want her to shoot a bird because I think, I really want her to. And second of all, I'm giving her extra motivation to do it because I really kind of felt like at this point, because she's going really, really well, she might want to go to dinner with me.
I haven't wanted to go to dinner with you ever since I first actually met you. But... Right. So I'm telling you, God himself stepped into my body, or so Grant says. He's like, you stood up, you stepped forward, you had the right form, I nailed that dove, down it went, and I was like so excited. And I made Grant walk with me, we're all putting our guns down, we're both going to get this dove. Remember, you had your pile of all your doves, and I was like, mine is separate.
This one is special, it has its own pile.
Yep, my dove had its own pile.
True story.
And then I helped Grant clean the doves. And another reason I knew you were my soulmate, girls get real ahead of the game. First date, he brought gloves to clean the dove so that my hands wouldn't get bloody. And I'm like, okay, he's mine.
I mean, that's just sanitary.
It was really sweet.
So we go to the Imperial Chinese restaurant, which is one of my favorite places in town because it's right by the house.
But while we were on the way, Grant let me be DJ in the truck with his iPhone music. Yeah, and remember I put on Stony LaRue, Feet Don't Touch the Ground.
One of my absolute favorite songs of all time. And
you look at me and you're like, why did you play that? And I was like, I want to dance to this song. I don't necessarily say it's going to be my wedding song, but I for sure this is such I love this song.
Yeah, and I pretty much was like, this is my favorite song. This was the song I want to dance to my wife with forever. This is what I want my first song at my wedding to be.
It was our very last song that we danced to when everyone was cleared out and it was just the two of us, and it was such a sweet, special moment. So that was another sign that we were meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we got to Imperial.
And bold move, Cotton. I ordered the Love Boat.
He did.
Which is this literal big giant wooden boat with sushi all over it and everything.
And I'm like, see, that comfort zone has already changed to this magical area, and I got him hooked. I told him all it took was one date.
Pretty much all it took. True story. What's funny is I want to say it was about, because 2 weeks later was October 4th.
Hold on, before we got there. So we finished up at Imperial. We're dressed in camo. The waitress doesn't understand, so Grant's bragging on me about shooting my dove to her. That was really sweet. I still remember my fortune cookie. Whenever I opened my fortune, it said, take a break and enjoy what's right in front of you. You've earned it.
Son.
And then, we were neighbors, so I got home and Grant Snapchats me. He's like, I need to go for a run. And it was his shoes. And I snapped him back and I was like, I was just about to go out. Do you want to go with me? And we went on a walk for 5 miles and just talked about life. Mm-hmm. And then we started hanging out every single day. And I remember we got to day 6 or 7 and I'm like, I I gotta like spray tan and do all my girly stuff. I don't know how I'm gonna maintain my life with this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were inseparable then.
Yeah. So we started officially dating on October 4th, which was about 2 weeks after the first night we took her out on a date. And I want to say it was about 3 or 4 weeks later, we were at Northgate after an A&M football game, and I drank 2 in. I looked at her brother in front of a huge group of guys. I was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to marry your sister," and like just dropped the mic and walked off, like for good, for a couple hours. We went to dinner with her, and everybody in the group was like, like it just shocked everybody.
I actually think if I play it right to that night, I actually think you came back inside, and I think we were on the second floor of. What's that bar? Yeah, Fitzwilly's backyard. And I'm pretty sure we were dancing to NSYNC Bye Bye Bye.
Probably.
And someone put us on their Snapchat, and you and I were both doing the Ain't No Lies, Say Bye Bye Bye.
Yep. True story.
And here we are, 4 years later.
4 years.
We still have little Bucky the Bulldog. Come here. Grant and I started dating on October 4th. On October 5th, he turned 30. And then he proposed to me on December 4th. Mm-hmm. And we got married on February 4th. So we dated for exactly 14 months and we were engaged for exactly 14 months. So that was one of the big reasons why we chose that wedding date.
Absolutely. It was actually really cool. Like it kind of just worked out that way, and we were like, it's just got to be a sign. So it was pretty cool. And it was also the day before the Super Bowl, which was pretty fun. We had a big Super Bowl party the day afterwards.
Only Grant Carrabba would get married one day and the next day host his own Super Bowl party at his house.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
My husband.
That's it.
So yeah, I guess today that we're recording this is the day. It's October 3rd, mm-hmm. And I saw that it's National Boyfriend Day.
That's correct.
So I mean, he is my forever boyfriend. But but by the time you're watching this, it means 4 years ago, Grant asked me to be his girlfriend, and I just wanted to share a little bit about our story.
I hope you liked it.
And we needed every literal heartbreak and lesson and unanswered prayer up until that point to get to each other. This ended really weird.
You're a weird person.
Okay.
You try to get all emotional and like sentimental and like a life lesson. It's just a cool story, and you're like, oh, emotions.
Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.